Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. We are back. I'm back with a voice this time. I'm just waiting for my girl, Kat, to jump on. But today we're going to be going into part two of Finding Your Own Way. So, the first part, if you missed it, is talking more about finding your own way on your health journey. And so, I shared my POV on that. And so, today we're going to be getting into the career/business part of Finding Your Own Way, and I'm going to be interviewing my girl Kat is and hopefully she can jump on. Hello everyone that's joining it. Oh, hello, there she is.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hello. Let me just find my filter because, Instagram really loves to play and just scatter my faves all
I
around.
know.
Like, who told you to go all the way to the end? Okay, let's see. Let's see if this one
Hello
is gonna.
everyone.
No, it's not even
Happy
loading.
Monday.
Happy Monday. The curls are thriving. I'm here for it.
This is like day 5, so we're trying to hold on.
Ooh, day 5.
Trying to hold
Okay.
on. We're trying to
Yes,
hold
we
on.
holding on. We holding
Trying to
on.
hold on. Trying to get another
Oh
day or
man.
two out.
Oh yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm doing with like
Okay.
my blowout. I was like, like it's just I'm itching to wash it. I want to wash it.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
I know.
If you know, you know.
You know. You know.
So
Um,
yeah, I was just
yes.
letting everyone know that's joining in now that we are doing the part two of Finding Your Own Way. So if you missed the
Yes.
first part, it is all about finding your way in the health and wellness space, and I gave my POV on that. And so today we're going to be getting into the career business side of things. And so I'm going to be interviewing my girl Kat because that is her specialty. If you don't
Yes, ma'am.
follow her for all of your business and content needs. All right, we're plugging today.
Period.
So let's just get right into it
Okie
and
dokie.
start. Well, how about you start with first introducing yourself and what you do for those that may not know?
Okay, so as a refresher for those that maybe do not know, I can't even talk today. So first, my name is Kathy and I can't talk. But I am a social media strategist and a content coach. So I basically help you with all things content, everything that has to do with social media, help you to start, grow, and scale your online business. So if you have a business that you run and use Instagram is my specialty, but I'm starting to get more into Pinterest and Facebook and TikTok and stuff, but Instagram is mostly my specialty. So if you run a business online, then I am here to help you navigate it all, boost your engagement, get more people and more eyes on your content. So yeah, that's basically what I do.
That's awesome. And especially in today's day and age, there is a huge need for more people in this space, more coaches, because the beauty of, the way the world has developed over the last 2.5+ years is there's a lot more opportunities for people to, start their own business. And all you really need is social media when you're first starting out for a
Yeah.
lot of businesses. So
Yeah.
definitely excited to hear what you have to say today. So,
Yeah.
my first question is going to be, what made you start your own business?
So if you guys are new here, are you new here? Are you new here?
Are you new here?
If you guys are new here, I was in an MLM for a year and a half. And so basically, not to elaborate or anything, but being in an MLM is not running your own business. You're working for a company. And so I decided to run my own business because I wanted creative control of my own business. I didn't want to continuously have to follow the rules and basically like the guidelines of another company. Like I basically, in like layman's terms, I didn't want anybody telling me what to do in regards to my business. And so I started it myself, and I knew that there was a need beyond what I was already doing. I saw so many coaches, whether they were health coaches or business coaches or whatever. I saw so many coaches and people online that were so burned out and didn't realize the signs. Like people just really thought, and this is actually a post that I'm going to be posting tomorrow, but it's like people really didn't realize the signs of burnout, and they would like explain and express what they were feeling, and I'm like, you're burned out. Like, and some people don't really know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I know that I felt like that. I felt extremely burned out, and I was taking steps to recover from it and to get over that, and to like take those little steps to like change my ways and my habits. So I knew that getting my message and my story out there and helping other people, I knew that there was a need for it, because especially if we're like online all the time, there's a high chance that you're going to be burned out.
Yeah, and I feel like burnout has become almost like the new norm. That's why I feel like many people don't realize it when they have those signs. Speaking from experience, I definitely had the checklist. I was feeling all those things, but I
Yeah.
just took it as being the norm, hustle culture, grind culture. When I was working in corporate America, it was kind of like just that mentality, like this is your job, you have to get it done no matter what. And so you as a person gets put on the back burner and you're just
Yeah.
supposed to be, being like a corporate or work robot.
Yeah.
When in reality, like that's not sustainable. And especially when things kind of shifted with quarantine, like we got a whole new outlook on working in a different environment and like not having to be in the office for a lot of us that have, office-based jobs.
Yeah.
And so it kind of opened a lot of like people's eyes, and a lot of us realized like, okay, it's not normal to be killing yourself for 40 plus hours a week, and then you have 48 hours to yourself, right,
Yeah.
on the weekend, and then you just repeat. And so I think one, I guess, of the kind of positive things that came out of such a crazy situation was a different approach to how we look at work-life balance.
I was about to say that, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of people think burnout just relates to the 9 to 5. And they think
Mm-hmm.
like, automatically when you start your own business, it's like, oh, well, I don't have anybody else telling me what to do. But in actuality, as somebody that is literally on both sides of the fence, I'm
Mm-hmm.
working a 9 to 5 and I also have a business as well. You have to become so much more self-disciplined, and you can easily become burned out when you're working for
Oh
yourself,
yeah.
because you have to be extremely organized. And I know that you have experience with this. You have to be extremely organized. You have to talk yourself out of a lot of things. You have to say no, and that's when boundaries come into place. And
Mm-hmm.
it's extremely easy for you to fall into the trap of burnout. So I know that creating content online can sometimes feel very robotic, and you can
Mm-hmm.
lose your passion easily when you create content. So that is one way that I'm trying to help other people online. Like, you don't have to overthink things. You don't have to always come up with new and fresh ideas. You can use the same thing that your brand defines and that defines you, and you don't have to overthink it and therefore get burned out. You can literally just use the same things over and over again. And then I will get into a whole like ramble about Instagram strategy, but I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I knew that other people needed to hear it, because I know that sometimes you need to understand the other side in order to be like, oh yeah, like I think I'm going through that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what I love about your page and the way that you approach it is you bring a lot more fun into what it is, especially for me, I have my own business, and like you said, whether you have a 9 to 5 or you have your own business, they each bring their own set of,
Yeah.
stress and things that you have to deal with. And so I think the way that you approach things, you break it down very simple and you make it more fun. So whether you do have your own online business or if you are a 9 to 5, or you can still get tips from the things that
Yeah.
you share and apply it in a way that you can have more balance and work smarter, not harder.
Thank you, because that is one thing that I aim for on my page. I aim to literally like break things down as simple as possible, because especially my target audience is people who are busy. Like, people who have nothing to
Mm-hmm.
do all day, there's no need for you to come over here. People who are busy, those are who my tips are for.
Yeah.
And busy people are not going to have the time to sit there and watch an entire 30-minute tutorial on something. They're going to want to know
Mm-hmm.
the quick bites. They're going to want to know quick tips here and there. And that's exactly what I aim to do on my page. So thank you so much for the feedback. And anyone else that is watching this or listening to this, if you have any tips or any types of suggestions of what you want to see from me, please let me know, because I will break it down seriously. Because
Yes, she
you got to
will.
dumb, I got to dumb it down for myself. So
But yeah, like I said, you're the queen of making things smarter, not harder, which a lot of us can benefit from because a lot of times we're just stuck in our heads and we're just like making things more complicated than they need to be.
absolutely.
So it's good to have that reminder every now and then.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get on to our next question. Do you think the coaching industry is oversaturated?
So I actually, so I don't. I don't think that it's oversaturated because it can seem that way. Because the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that we're all humans, right? We're all humans and we have different ideas sometimes, right? And the good thing is that if you have an idea and you want to coach other people on it, then coach other people on it. Even
Mm-hmm.
though there are thousands of people doing what I'm doing online. Like you can literally type in social media strategist and thousands of people will come up. But there's only
Mm-hmm.
one me, and
Mm-hmm.
you are going to teach your subject and you're going to teach your clients a certain way, and they're going to gravitate to you. Why do you think not all coaches have the same amount of clients? Because some people gravitate to some people's personality, some people gravitate to some people's way of teaching, some people are more visual learners, some people are more like read and write and do that type of learner, they're not hands-on. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
a different teacher and everyone's a different learner. So I don't think the coaching space is oversaturated. What I do think is oversaturated is a lot of coaches that do the same exact thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's different if you are a coach and you, let's say there's another social media strategist just like me, and we were literally copying and pasting each other's posts, then there's no differentiation. That is
Mm-hmm.
oversaturated. But I do think that if I was doing something and I'm a social media strategist and I work a 9 to 5 and I'm teaching people how to recover from burnout and how to make simplified content, and somebody else is just teaching you like content strategy and having to do with marketing and all of that, like marketing is not my forte. Marketing is not, it's at all. But if somebody else is trying to teach you how to do content marketing, we're still social media strategists, but we do different things. So I
Mm-hmm.
always feel that not only in your why, because everybody's why is going to be different, but also in your strategy and in your brand pillars, it's going to really separate yourself from everybody else. And the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, I spoke about this on a post or on a story like the other day. I don't only speak about content. Like you see my husband, you see my dog, you know, like I'm from the Bronx, you know that I work in New York. Like my personality comes out in my content. And I think that's very important if you're defining your brand online. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to become a coach or you just want to teach people what you know, as long as you are 2 to 3 steps ahead of where they are now, you can teach them how to get there. And as long as you're continuing to educate yourself on your craft and you're continuing to research things and make yourself better and make and get more educated on what you're doing, then you can teach other people. Like you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to worry about it ever being oversaturated. There's going to be thousands of people online that claim to be a coach. There's going to be thousands of people online that are coaches, but there's only one you. So don't ever think
Mm-hmm.
that it's oversaturated.
Yeah, I really I like the way that you answered that because just from speaking on the opposite side of things as someone that when I was thinking of starting my own or restarting my own business,
Yes.
you kind of get into that mindset, like, oh, it's been done before. There's so many people in this space already. But like you said, there's only one you. And so while you might be under the same umbrella, depending on the industry that you're focused in, you're going to bring different perspectives to what you're sharing because we all have had different experiences. So
Right.
I think it's important for a lot of people to know too that you might already be a coach at something you don't realize it too, right? Because
Yes.
no matter where we're from, we're all like knowledgeable about something, whether it's like you said, content strategy, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
makeup, whether it's hair, like styling your clothes. Like there's something that we all have a knack for. And so instead of having to like overcomplicate things, like you can literally start from a hobby and turn it into something that's profitable for you.
I'm so glad that you said that because that is literally what I encourage. And I'm probably annoying to a lot of my family and friends, but I encourage so many people to do that. Like, if you are, now it's different. If you have a hobby and that just really just makes you happy and you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
make a living off of that and you just want to like just continue to do that, that's like your me time, your self-care time, then yeah, do you, boo. But if you have something that you've been doing that's either a craft, either your service, you have a service or a product or something that you have been doing, for example, actually, because this just happened. So my mom has been painting for so long. Like my mom has been painting and she just used to do it as a form of therapy. She was like, she just loves painting. She loves doing that. She's been sewing, she's Dominican. So, she's
Mm-hmm.
been sewing forever.
She does
So
it
she's
all.
been sewing. She does it all. And she also makes jewelry. So she had a jewelry business years ago, and it didn't she went back to work and all of that, but then now she's been painting, and she's just been posting like her paintings on her Facebook, and she sold like 4 paintings already. And I'm like, ma'am, if you want to make this as your, because she's like a stay-at-home wife right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you want to do this as like your source of income, you can do that. You're purchasing all of the supplies, you are putting forth effort into your
Mm-hmm.
paintings, and you're putting your heart and your soul into it, so you should do that. And she was just like, really? And I'm like, yeah, girl, you should do it. So we finally were able to make her the Instagram and the Instagram shop and all of that to like get it going. But I thrive on that. Like, I love watching people like turn an idea into a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how you said that. Like, you could be a coach and you don't even know it. Like, you can literally, if people are constantly coming to you to ask you advice on something, and people are constantly coming to you to ask you how to teach them how to do something, you could literally get paid to do it. Like,
That's
literally.
it's so funny because that was what kind of like solidified me into like saying, okay, like this is what I'm gonna do full time. Is because yeah, I was getting a lot of just like questions on my opinion, and you know, like, I think a lot of people too also get hung up on like, oh, I need a degree, I need like this credential, and experience is really how you learn.
The
Okay,
best.
so yeah, you can go to school for something for 5, 6 years, whatever the case may be. But it's not until you actually work in that field that you get the experience, because a lot of times when you come out of college and you're looking for an entry level job, what are they looking for? Experience. So
Exactly.
there's no better way to actually learn things than going through experience. Of course, you want to make sure that the things that you're saying are credible and truthful and all of that, but you don't have to feel like you need to be held back by those things, because I've seen people on this app and on the internet say wild things, and they have all these letters after their name,
Boop.
yet the common sense is not there. So I think people really need to like be confident in the knowledge that they have. Like, you know, when you know something and you know when you're good at something. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you can capitalize on that, why not?
Especially if it's something that you can't stop talking about. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something that like, if it like fills you up and you really can't stop talking about it, and you just feel, there's like a feeling that you get when you talk about something that you love, right? There's a feeling that you get when you are teaching someone, and when like the light bulbs are going off and a person is just like, damn, like, yeah, like I really understood that. Like, she broke it
Mm-hmm.
down really well. Like, especially if somebody, you could teach someone something and they can implement it and get results, like, that's a business. That's
Yep.
literally a business idea, and you don't have to overthink it. Like, it's amazing how it's not oversaturated, and you have the coaches side of you. You absolutely do.
Yes, so true. All right, next question. How do you navigate through imposter syndrome, the
So I
dreaded
am
imposter
currently
syndrome?
navigating. I'm currently navigating through imposter syndrome, but honestly, I have learned through obviously mindset work and doing my personal development, and really like understanding why I'm doing it. And sometimes I have to catch myself. I have to catch myself like, nope, Kathy, don't do that. Don't ask yourself that.
Yep.
Because sometimes you can like get, it could be two sides of it, right? So sometimes you can not get a client for like, let's say you don't get a client for like 30 days straight, right? Then you're just like, damn, like I know that my offers are amazing. I know that what I'm doing is helping people. Why isn't anybody buying? And then on your feed, you'll see all of these coaches that are constantly getting clients, that are constantly
Mm-hmm.
making money, and that are maybe making the money and getting the clients that you want, right? So then you just like, dang, why not even start this business in the first place? Like, I'm about to just like dead it. I'm just going to give it a break, whatever, right? It could be
Mm-hmm.
that extreme. Or you can equate your worth to when you get your client. You
Mm-hmm.
could get your client, and then you can be like, okay, now I know that I'm worth it. And it's like, it shouldn't be that extreme. You shouldn't base your worth on money. That's number one. And you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't base your worth on just the people that are buying.
Yeah.
Because granted, there are certain strategies that you can have in place that if you are like running a program, or like you have an offer out, or like let's say like both of us have one-on-one coaching, right? And if we market it a certain way or we promote it a certain way, obviously some ways work better than others. That's just
Mm-hmm.
how social media works. Some ways work better than others. But that doesn't mean that you have to shut down your whole thing if somebody doesn't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that you have to be like, okay, like that just gave me like of course it's going to give you like a boost of confidence, like, okay, like let's do this, like let's give it, like get some fire again, like we
Yeah.
got this, like somebody joined. But you have to always be excited about your business in order for
Mm-hmm.
people to be excited about it, because people can feel that. People
Yeah.
can feel that online. They can look at you and be like, nothing's been going on there, she doesn't have a client, what's going on? I can tell that her mood's off, like what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna be like, well, if her mood's off when she don't got a client, like I ain't gonna join her for what? But is if you are always showing up with the same enthusiasm you have to just teach and just serve,
Mm-hmm.
then the imposter syndrome will like not completely go away, but it'll be lesser and lesser. And I have to snap myself out of this all the time. Like I literally have to snap myself out, because sometimes I'm just like, why am I doing this? Like maybe I have to change this up. And it's only been a day. It'll be like a day since I launched, and I'm just like, oh my God, nobody bought it yet. And I'm like, okay, wait, I just talked about it yesterday. And then you also have to remember
Yeah.
that on Instagram, only like 10% of your audience sees your content. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to talk about it all the time in order for a chunk of people to hear about it. Talk about your offer all the time. Talk about your program all the time, and serve for free. Literally serve for free, because people need to trust you in order to know that you're worth paying money on. How many
Mm-hmm.
times you got to see an ad on Instagram or on Facebook before you buy something, or an ad
True.
on TV before you buy something? The first time it comes around, you'd be like, I don't know what that is. And then the second time it comes out, and then you see an influencer using it, and then you see somebody else using it, and then your friend is using it. You're like, okay, let me buy it now. So it takes a
Yeah.
while, but as long as you know that that six-figure coach that may be making six figures has went through a completely different journey than you are. And if they've been in business for 10 years and you're just starting your business, it doesn't even make sense logically to compare yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, because the only thing you're going to be doing is disappointing yourself. And granted, some people make money faster than other people. Everybody has a different business. Everybody runs their businesses differently. I remember I was comparing myself to a coach that was making six figures. I don't know for what, but I was comparing myself to her. But she takes sales calls all the time. She's on calls all the time. She's on calls all day. She literally does not have a 9 to 5. She does this business
Mm-hmm.
all day. And I'm like, well, I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to be on calls all day. Like, and I have a whole job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't make sense to even compare yourself. Like, for
Yeah.
what? What are you comparing yourself for? Because you're literally just going to be disappointed. So the only person that you should compare yourself to is the person that you were yesterday. And that's it. If you are doing better and you're taking those steps ahead and taking steps to move forward in your business, listening as I cook, I love
Mm.
it. If you are taking those steps to move forward in your business, then you can not easily, let me rephrase. You can manage to control the feelings of imposter syndrome. And I could literally talk about this forever. I might do a freaking like live talking about this, because imposter syndrome is so like, if a coach out there says that they don't go through imposter syndrome, they're lying, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody goes through it at one point. It's just the method of like, are you doing the steps that you need in order to talk yourself out of it?
Yeah, I think we can all agree that comparison is the thief of joy, and
Mm-hmm.
imposter syndrome is something that comes no matter like where you're at in your life, right? Whether you have your own business, whether you work 9 to 5, whether you're, even if you're a stay-at-home mom, or like, like
Yes.
there's always something for you to be comparing yourself to, or for you to like not think that you're doing well enough. And so it's important to realize like it's going to be a continuous thing where you're going to have to talk yourself out of it.
Yep.
And like you said, when you're new in a space, no matter what it is, you can't expect to have the same success as someone that's been doing that for years
Mm-hmm.
and years and years. Like everything takes time. And if you have a new business and you have 5 clients and you're like, man, I wish I had 25, like there's people that don't even get 5 clients in a whole year of their first
Yeah.
business. You know what I mean? So like it gives you perspective, because I'm guilty of that as well. I've had moments, where I'm just overthinking, of course, and thinking I'm not doing enough. And it's like that fine line, right? Where it's like you need to post about your business because
Yeah.
hello, that's how people know about it, right? But you're
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to like overdo it. And then you're like, I don't want people to think I'm showing off. It's like there's so many things, especially because on social media, everyone has the ability to say whatever they want behind their keyboard. So everyone
Yep.
just says things that are crazy, and it
Mm-hmm.
might get in your head. So it's important to really just like get back to your, like you say, your why, your core values, whatever it is that you have as a reason why you're doing this, and kind of remind yourself, like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. I'm good at it. I deserve to, talk about things that I'm doing well, and like share, like to share those client wins, share those testimonials,
Yep.
because that speaks to your work ethic. And so I'm gonna take a lot of the things that you said and I'm gonna digest them, because I
I have
definitely
to also.
I needed to hear some of those things today, because it's a struggle. It doesn't matter whether you've been in the space for 6 months, a year, 5 years. There's always going to be those moments where you have to give that little pep talk to yourself and be like,
Absolutely.
I can do this. I got this. And you just
Yes,
kind of need to like reset yourself.
absolutely.
All right. And my last question for you is going to be, what advice would you give someone that's just starting out?
So I'm actually glad that you had mentioned the imposter syndrome, because somebody that just starting out, just start. Like that's literally like the easiest thing I can say is just start. It's going to be messy at first. It is really going to be messy, and it's okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. Just start. You don't need a fancy page. You don't need fancy aesthetics on your page. You don't need like to sign up for all of these systems at the same time. Like take it one step at a time. Literally, if you have, and this is as messy as it gets. If you have Zelle or you have Cash App and you want to charge someone, put a price on something, charge someone for it and have them Zelle you. That's it. Start there. Then maybe you can move on to invoicing. And I think Chase has invoicing too, or Zelle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they have invoicing also. You can do that to keep track of everything. Like start at one step at a time, and start with something that's maybe your signature. Start with something that maybe is your signature, and maybe you don't know what your signature is yet, and that's okay. But start with the one thing that you can't stop talking about. If you can't stop talking about health and fitness and really can't stop talking about like you can't stop talking about like low tox living, and you really love talking about ingredients, like talk about that. Try to find something that you can help somebody with, and think about it. Like if I were to get on live video, and I actually got this idea from one of the coaches I follow. If I were to get on live video, how long can I talk about this topic? If I could talk about it for like a half an hour, then do a masterclass and make it free. Do not be afraid of doing things for free. Do not be afraid of doing things for free. The only reason why I have ever invested in any type of coach or any type of program was from their free content. There was never a time where I just saw a random website and I clicked the link and I bought something from a coach that has to do with content or whatever, or business or whatever, and I haven't absorbed their free content. Even if I saw that, I would go to the link of their Instagram and I would see their content.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is how you know someone. That's how you get to know someone. That is how, obviously, on Instagram and on social media, we are all connected via online. So your Instagram is you. Don't be afraid to include your personality in your on your Instagram page. Don't be afraid to include your personality as your brand, because that is your brand. It's you.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Even if it's messy at first, it's okay. Even if you have to do the things for free at first, it's okay. I just did a huge, and this is to put things in perspective. When I first started my business, I wanted to do a paid masterclass, because my thought was like, okay, I'm first starting this business. Like, I need to get some type of income, right? So I did a paid masterclass. One person joined, and not to say that it wasn't successful, but I knew that the topic that I did the masterclass on, I wasn't I wasn't feeling it. And that's okay, because it was messy at first. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago when I just did my signature masterclass and it was free and 28 people joined.
Wow.
Which is amazing, because now
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to contact them to get feedback on everything that they're doing. And it wasn't a masterclass where I was just rambling. It was an organized masterclass, as if, you know what, Kathy, like I would have paid for this. And that is what I want anybody that's listening to this or watching this to think. Like, just start. Don't think that you have to have all of your ducks in a row to start something. Just start. And even if you've never had a client, even if you have never had a client, you are your first client.
Mm-hmm.
You have done what you are teaching other people to do.
Yep, that's true, right?
And that was, and yeah, like
Yeah,
you
how can you
literally have
show
done it.
people if you haven't done it yourself?
Exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
I know that I took the steps needed to recover from burnout. I know that I took the steps needed to simplify my content and to repurpose it. So I had to sit down and write down everything I did, everything that I did, and the steps that I did to do it. And if you know that you can teach someone how to do that, then that's it. You're your first client. You don't need to have fancy testimonials. You don't need to have you don't need to have all of these systems in place. You don't need to have a team. Obviously, if you get to that point where you can afford to hire out and outsource, then do you, boo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to do everything yourself and you are just starting out and you have that thing that is passionate and that is burning inside you that you know you want to teach people, but you just don't know how to do it, just start with one step. That's it. One thing, just one offer. And obviously, I am here to help you if you need that guidance. I'm here to help you one-on-one if you need that guidance. But even if you can't invest in a coach right now, even if you can't afford to do anything, let's say you can't, right? Instagram is free. Absorb the coach that you want content. And if their content is teaching you something, if you notice that you're saving a lot of their content, if you notice that you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly referring back to their content, if you notice that you have them saved as as one of your favorites, and you're just like, okay, I need to go back to this person because I remember that they said something, then work yourself up to hiring that coach. Or even if you never can, that's okay. Sign up to anything that you can that's free.
Mm-hmm.
And investing doesn't only mean money. Investing means time as well. Sometimes you got to sit there and you got to do your research and you have to educate yourself and you have to there's YouTube is free, Instagram is free. There are so many free resources online,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm telling you this from personal experience. I've done this myself. There's so many free resources online, so there's no excuse not to start. Just do it, even if it's messy.
You heard her. Just start. Just do it.
Hallelujah.
I think a huge takeaway from not only this episode, but the last week's
The
episode
last one too, yeah.
is to invest in yourself and to see the importance of it, no matter what path you're looking to take, no matter where you're at currently versus where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
In any way, it pays off to invest in yourself because whether it's just for your own mental, physical health or it is for your career, it's going
Yeah.
to pay off. You're never going to regret, like, oh, I should not have done that for myself. Like, how dare
Right.
I learn more or how dare I take care of my body? Like, you're never going to regret that. It's
Yeah.
always going to benefit you. And usually, once you start, you're going to want to keep building. You're going to want to keep educating yourself. You're going to want to keep investing more time into yourself. So um, don't, discount yourself and don't shortchange yourself just because you're new in a space or because you are a beginner. Investing, whether it's, like you said, into a coach or into free resources, investing your time, it's always going to pay itself back 100-fold.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this was a great episode. Why you look like that? This was a great episode. You shared so many different gems. Like I feel like this was almost like a mini masterclass.
Right?
If you are looking to be in this space, there's a lot of gems that you can take some notes from. So this episode is going to be up shortly, and like I said, the part one is already up, and it was last week on the health and wellness space. So. Thank you guys for joining us live. We will be
Yes.
back with you again next week. And if you ever have any episode topics that you want us to cover, any topics that you might think are a little juicy, send us a DM or a comment on our posts, and we will add those into our episode list.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.